I speak of your other morning
I
activity,
know.
which is brush your teeth, spit in there.
Pretty
Pretty
bitch.
bitch.
Yeah, pretty bitch. Brush my teeth every morning. I spit it out. I go, and then I lean forward and I pause. And I tell myself, pretty bitch.
Miss Lewis, I love you.
It's so
I
good.
love you. Greetings, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Clock It.
Now, Simone, we have been bringing the people the freshest, most topical stories from the political, cultural worlds, and when they combine for every episode.
You know, we stay tapped in, I
Very
believe.
true, very true, very true. Thank you. Shout out to the team. But this week, we wanted to do something a little bit different for you guys. Instead of stories of the week, we want to bring you a voice of generations with an S.
Yes, now that's right. Just a couple of weeks ago, we sought out sage advice and a whole bowl of comfort from the mother of Black Hollywood herself. That's right. If you know, you know. Jennifer, as she would say, motherfucking Lewis, is joining the group chat.
Who will get canceled. Over the years, she has appeared in more than 400 TV episodes, 68 movies, 4 Broadway plays.
Wow.
She has played Tupac's, Whitney's, Tina Turner's, and Kevin Hart's mother. She has played iconic characters like Dean Dorothy Dandridge Davenport in A Different World, which is getting the reboot we all deserve. Finally, Aunt Helen in Fresh Prince, and Ruby Johnson in Blackish. And for one day, she was our Auntie Jennifer.
Yes, child. We laughed over her stories from the Serengeti. We cried over the people we've lost.
Yeah.
And we listened to Ms. Lewis serenade us. So if you're on a walk, if you were stuck in traffic, if you were caught in a TSA line because you were late to a plane about to leave you behind, I've
Like
been
her.
there. Take the time, or if you know you're just trying to get through your morning, take the time to join us at our table and listen to the incomparable, the extraordinary Jennifer Lewis. We are very excited to talk to you. I said, oh, Miss Lewis is cutting up in here on these podcasts, child. We are
Well,
honored.
First of all, the children need to listen more instead of filming these short snips and then making me look like an idiot, which I am. But,
You do not look like an idiot,
You have
though.
never looked like an idiot.
Far from. Now, you know, I joke a lot.
Correct.
But listen, what I want to say about that is there were so many headlines on the 63 men I slept with. Read a book if you could read, people. It was not 63 men, it was 342. Now, listen, let me get this out of the way. Read the memoir, people.
Miss
You will
Lewis.
understand that before treatment of bipolar disorder, I had the mania. The mania turned into a sex addiction. Let me just get all this out of the way because after I was molested by the pastor of my church, that will make you sort of look for love in all the wrong places when you've been that betrayed.
Yeah.
You know, he took everything from me. He took, it just was just so hideous. You think, girl, anyway, I don't want to go into that. But here's the point I want to make. The rush of the mania of bipolar disorder will cause you to do a lot of crazy things like, you know, speeding in a car. That mania takes control. And my drug was sex. So I was young and in my 20s, and that's just what I did. And the next thing, let me just say this. The reason I share all of these things with you people is so that you can use and learn.
I was about to say that. Eugene and I talked about this, Miss Lewis, that it is refreshing, frankly, when people who are held in such high regard, frankly, as yourself, you are the mother of Black Hollywood, an icon, truly, but you are also a person. And we often talk about, what's the phrase, Eugene, where people have these parasocial relationships with people that they feel like they know them?
Yeah.
And I do think that because, I mean, the world is, can we just say, kind of fucked up right now? Stuff is crazy out there. And to hear folks that people hold in such high regard that they see on television and on stages and in places where they just think like, oh my goodness, this person cannot possibly identify with me. For
Well,
folks to know
I'm
that we are all
authentic.
going through similar stuff, I think it matters, right?
I'm
Yeah.
authentic. I'm transparent. There's no shame in my game.
Mm.
When I found
Mhm.
out during treatment from a very serious mental illness, bipolar disorder, when I found out we are sick as our secrets,
Mm.
I
Hmm.
ain't got
Mm.
none no more.
Mm.
I ain't got no secrets. Ain't
So
no shame in my game. You can't come for me. You can't come for me because I did the work. You
Mm.
can't come for me because I know who I am. There was a time I didn't trust myself because, let's face it, it was the drama of the gifted child. I had this gift.
hmm.
And there was
Mhm.
something deep in me that needed to honor the voice and the
Mm.
humor and the everythingness of me, the charisma. I have the it factor. I've known it since I was a child. So you can't put out that light with silly shit. You can't dim my light at this age. Are you insane? Shit.
Have
Girl,
they? I mean, they've never been able to dim your light. Like they've
Well,
never been able to dim your light. And I do wonder. My favorite thing as a fan of yours is watching you get introduced and reintroduced to new
mm.
generations. And I think like that is so fascinating because I think the new generations, younger folks that are younger than us, sometimes don't have authentic people who are willing to say the things that you're willing to say, who are
Mm.
willing to say as a black woman, right? How important it is for us to get our mental health checked, wading into politics. So when you kind of think about being that authentic self and how important it is for young people to hear that and see that, what is your hope that they take from that?
My life is now 10% show business and 90% activism.
Mm.
Everything I
Yeah.
do is to uplift the people. Whether I'm acting silly or manic, sometimes I can still get manic because my personality breaks through the medication. You understand? There ain't that much
Mm.
medication. I'm
That's what I
sorry.
say about my Wellbutrin, Miss Lewis. I'm like, look, ain't
Yes,
enough
that's what I'm
Wellbutrin in the
talking
world
about.
some days.
But I will tell you this. If my therapist sees that Kiki Palmer interview, the milligrams are going up. I clown so bad
Yes,
on
ma'am.
that show. I mean, I clowned. I clown. And people, I mean, when
Someone
I,
said Kiki Palmer has been out Kiki Palmered.
Yes.
well, she is mini me. People have been saying that for years.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
she's
yes.
adorable, and I just love her. I love what she's done. I want my African American Museum T-shirt to show in
Mhm.
this interview. They had given me a private tour early
Oh,
in the morning
Oh,
before people
wow.
came in.
what was your favorite part of the museum?
Well, when I started downstairs, where
Mhm.
all of
Yeah.
the slavery history is, when I saw, the instruments they used on Black women
Mm.
without anesthesia, because I knew the museum was empty, I released I released a primal scream
Mm.
that I have never heard come out of me. I mean, I could not control myself. The horror of of what they did to us. And now here in this time to
Mm.
think that we can get over it. No, you get over it because that's why you're doing what you're doing now because of what you did. You
Hmm.
can't
Hmm.
you can't look at it. You're filled with rage. You're filled with mostly fear that we're gonna kick their ass. But see,
Well,
they
Miss
don't
Lewis,
they
I'm wondering, are they? I mean, part of them, I think some people are scared. To your point, I think some people are also the folks that are trying to keep this history from being taught. Frankly, They are concerned because if people know the truth, that they would act differently, that people would
They have
act
been
accordingly.
unleashed. I mean, he unleashed the knowledge of them knowing the blood in the dirt in this country. And they now know. See, there will always be a reckoning, darling. Every knee shall bow at some point because that's the
Hmm.
human nature. And they are scared to death. But not only scared, the evil has been unleashed. I mean, he said, go for it. And they
Mm.
are showing their asses. Now, let me tell you something. I am not a racist. I love all people, and this is the truth. I've traveled all over the world, I've seen it all. Every time I went somewhere, as the fabulous movie star, I said, no, you take me to the trenches. You
Mm.
show me the townships. You drive me into the townships of South Africa. You take me where there's no running water in Cape Town. You take me in Argentina. I want to know where they were. I want to know who, I can't even think of a name now. Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Evita.
Yes,
Mhm.
Yeah.
show me who she was fighting for. Show me who I now have to fight for.
Mm.
Because you see, I came from great poverty. You see, when the freezing pipes burst in my house, 8 people living in 2 rooms, when the freezing pipes would burst, we could ice skate on the kitchen floor.
Mm.
We had to
Hmm.
go out back in the snow, rain, and heat to use the outhouse. I tell them I got 5 bathrooms now, bitches. You gotta love it. And every time I go, and by
It's
the way,
giving glow up. It's
our
giving
sisters
Yeah.
we
don't
know
teach you,
where we
don't ask.
started from.
As you watch people now dealing with the current situation we're living in, right? And people trying to take us back, when you think about how you speak up and speak out, are you surprised by the capitulation that has happened
Mm.
over and over and over again from institutions?
I'm scared like everybody, but we must be unafraid. You do what you can wherever you are. They can't kill our history, darling. They don't have that kind of power.
To piggyback off of what Eugene just said, though, Miss Lewis, I think that there's a camp of people, whether they are politicians or regular folk, just citizens, entertainers, artists, right, who are, like yourself, very much so not just aware, but in the fight in various ways, shapes,
Right.
and forms.
Right.
I've seen you on the infomercials.
Stand up where you are, even if that's mentoring a child. You know, I was in an audience with the Dalai Lama, and white woman got up and she was going on and on about, well, what are we gonna do? You know, the government, it's all the government. What are they gonna do? Dalai Lama said, take care of what's in front of you. What's right in front of you? What's in front of you that is a reflection of you? Live while you live. These people don't get to take our joy. We're made of it. It is the foundation of our
Hmm.
being. We are a joyful, colorful people. We are the culture. We are the dancers. We are the music. We are the angels. I used to say before it got this bad, I used to say these are not dark times. These are
Mm.
awakening times. These are dark
Hmm.
times. But guess what? We will stand up and we will deliver. And we will do exactly what Maya Angelou said. We will rise and we will continue to rise. Do your part where you can do your part, when you can do your part. We know you got 3 jobs, but even if your part is sitting down and telling your children the truth, teach your children the truth.
You talked about, and you've talked about this in the past, and I'm curious, I want people to hear this story on this podcast about a kind of a political awakening of your own. And I
Mhm.
think in your memoir, you talked about your own political awakening really happening as an adult during the AIDS epidemic, and that you were seeing what was happening to gay men around the world, around the country. No one was paying attention.
Yes, when we were on Broadway, I
Mhm.
mean, our gay friends were just, I mean, they just dropped. They just, every day. I got home from Egypt and 4 of my dearest friends had died.
Hmm.
I don't know what made me call my acting teacher that day. And I said to her, "What do you do with this? What do you do with
Hmm.
this? That 4 friends, 4 of them just gone in 2 days."
Hmm.
She said the most brilliant thing to me. She said, "You live it.
Hmm.
Live it."
What does she mean by that? You live it.
What she meant was, if you gotta drop to your knees, then drop. If you gotta go outside and roll in the dirt, then you do that. If you gotta cry for 4 days, a day for each of them, then you do that. You do whatever you have to do. Mourning comes in waves. What you don't do is go crazy, because once again, we have to fight. Don't look at this shit all day, every day. You know it's gonna be the same shit. He's gonna do something that's so insanely maddening. Our job is not to become them. As soon as I read the headline, I know what happened. I know who did it and why they did it. I know how twisted and sick they are. This is a very twisted administration. It is when Elon Musk, oh, come here, Jesus, did the Hail Hitler
Hmm.
sign, babe.
Which he says
Hmm.
he didn't do it, but
Yeah,
Well,
he said it
they
wasn't no
all
Hitler
say
sign.
they
Hmm.
don't
mm-hmm.
do what they did.
Mm-hmm.
The lies are suffocating. The way
Mm.
they just lie.
You mean
There's the
the elected officials and the people that run it.
yes, all
Can I
of
just
them.
let me say this because it's so crazy. We have
Mhm.
to we want there has to be a rationale here. And sometimes the rationale that I've heard from a lot of people is that the president or some other people must have something on all these people that they have doing his dirty work. And I think perhaps, as Eugenia said, it's easier for that to be, for us to wrap our minds around that, as opposed to the fact that they are doing these things, whether it's cabinet officials, whether it's Elon Musk, right?
Congress members, yeah.
Members of Congress, that they are doing these things because they want to.
There's a part of that other part, like you just said, that is comforting.
Mm.
Surely they can't be this insane. Surely they're not going to really pull off this shit that they're trying to do with Project 2025.
10% of what you're doing now is acting and performing, and that 90% is activism. And we are weeks from the midterms, from that actually happening. And that is the power
Mm.
that people have. And we've seen over the last year and a half, folks going out in the streets. There's been more protesting.
Oh, yes.
For the
Oh,
first
no,
6
no,
months,
no.
it was real
I am
quiet.
proud of us. I
Yeah.
am proud of y'all.
Yeah.
I'm proud of y'all white people. Come on in the streets. Come on, white kids. I follow a lot of them white kids on the internet that are talking, and they are talking. I love them. Go, girl. I wish I knew their names. But I love watching the white people talk about it, and with all their intelligence and all their anger and all their, listen. Listen, y'all, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But somebody asked me years ago, Miss Lewis, as a Black woman, do you find the racism? I don't, because I don't wake up looking for it. Because I want my joy.
Mm.
Bitch, this might be my last day. You don't get it. And trust me, I do live every day like it's my last.
There is some more to unpack here because what I have found in talking to people that, to your point, Ms. Lewis, people that say, "Oh, I'm working all these jobs trying to put money in my pocket so I can put food on the table for my family. I'm dealing with an aging parent and young children.
Right.
I just lost my job." Like people are dealing with so many things that they're like, "Look, I understand y'all talk about this politics, but I'm dealing with real life." You're telling us you can walk and chew gum at the same time, but also still keep your joy. And
Right.
that is something that I think people have to wrap their arms around in this moment.
It's like the anger doesn't have to be sitting inside of you all the time. You can
Yeah,
be mad
right.
about something. It
Correct.
doesn't
Yeah.
have to infect you.
And
Listen,
you're aware.
we
Right.
are lights. Turn them on.
Mm.
Turn on the
Mm.
lights. We have a soul, which is the only thing they really cannot take from us. See, I
Mm.
wake up with Mandela and Harriet. I wake up with them. One night, that fool had done something. That whole Epstein thing, and it just had been the last straw. That wiped me out. So I was
Mm.
sobbing and sobbing and sobbing, and I couldn't stop. And I said, Harriet, you're going to have to help me stop. I need you to help me. Just stop crying. I'm not going to ask for much. Help me stop. Guide me to stop. And she said to me, I want you to stop being so selfish.
Ms. Lewis, you mean Harriet Tubman?
I mean Harriet Tubman.
Mm.
She said, if your knees give out, Jenny, you stay down there as long as you need, but get up. If you collapse in pain, you can cry for 10 minutes, but you get up. Baby, when you get to where we are, you don't get to spend the day in misery. You get the fuck
Mm.
up. That's what it said to me. And see, that's who I am. So I cried for
Yeah.
33 years. I was depressed for 33 years of my life. So see, I know to get up now. You get up. You can put the covers over your head, but you leave the curtains open. See, it's the
Mm.
self-work, y'all. I don't know nothing about who is who in Washington and da. I know the self-work. I spent the last 30-something years with inner work. That's why they can't touch me.
Mm.
Huh? I got my lights on, and it can't be dimmed because that's the work I've been doing. Just like from the fall in Africa. I've been in
Mhm.
physical therapy for 2.5
Yeah.
years.
Ms. Lewis, some people may not be familiar with the fact that you suffered, a terrible accident in 2022. You actually, some people probably aren't aware because you kept it out of the press
Right.
Yeah.
for 2 years, so
Yes,
you
I
could
did.
devote your energy to healing.
Mm.
What exactly has your comeback from that injury taught you? Because you're not just out here going on podcasts and doing activism. You're actively working. You have a number of projects coming down the pipeline. You have been on stage. You have continued to be on our screens. But you did deal with something very terrible. And I do think that there are a lot of people who experience something terrible, whether it be an accident, whether it be a death, right? A grief. Something happens to them and they struggle to get back on the horse. But it's like
Yeah.
you are back, still working
Well,
through it, but you're here.
yes, here's the thing. The me I had made before the fall didn't know how not to come back. Do you
Mm.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm.
couldn't tell y'all because I didn't want you to know I had fallen until I could tell you how I got up. Because of the inner work.
Mm.
That means sit your ass under a tree if you need to, but find your way back to your joy. If you gotta hug that tree, if you gotta sing to it, if you can just stand still and let it talk to you, that bitch is a symphony. Watch her leaves blow. Watch the sound of trade winds with leaves blowing. I dare you to listen. See, I say the same things because it's the same road. I was forced to be an observer of life, a human being opposed to a human doing. And you learn a lot when you sit still.
Mm-hmm.
God said we got to sit her down for 2 years at least, because she ain't listening right now.
Ms. Lewis, when you have lived an extraordinary life and you have many years to come,
Yeah, you're not done.
when you think of the rest of your life,
Mm.
and when you look back at your life, what are you most proud of?
Mm. I'm proud that I was able to say 3 of the most powerful words on earth. I need help.
Mm. You've said that you getting help literally saved your life, and this is why you speak so publicly about the help, but also encouraging other artists, other entertainers, just people that they have to get help. The help saves your life. I I wonder, have you ever encountered someone? Because a lot of times we talk a lot, not necessarily on television, but in our little group chats here at work and in our friend groups, that everybody, frankly, is dealing with something.
Yeah.
And that everybody does need a little bit of help, but sometimes folks don't know how to ask for it. We're all going through something. As you said, these are dark times. Have you ever encountered somebody that you knew they needed help, you thought sharing your story would make the difference, and they still were
Oh,
resistant
darling, oh,
to the
darling, oh,
help?
darling, oh, darling, you
Mm.
cannot help anybody. Ah, ah, ah,
Mm.
ah, ah. Oh, darling, it's to lead the horse to water. Don't even waste your time. You can't help anybody. You can share, you can care, but they gonna be what they gonna be. Don't try to change nobody. That's why, in my 4 engagements, well, whoever's in front of you or whatever's in front of you is a reflection of you.
Mm.
Get up every
Mm.
morning. I give everybody that hears this the challenge to get up. And after you brush your teeth before you run and put on your clothes, mm, stand there. Instead of 8 hours on your makeup, stand there
Mm.
and say out loud, I love myself.
Mm.
And keep repeating it until you mean it. The tears will come. Do not take your eyes away from your eyes and watch some shit change. A whole bunch of shit will change. And do it every fucking morning.
Can we go back to the voting for a second? I don't know if you remember
Yeah.
this, but we got a little video. You've inhabited a lot of different spaces and places, but this was, I think, one of the first times that you gagged me directly. Okay, take a listen, everybody.
I don't care who you are or where you work. Get out and vote. This ain't the election to sit home and lurk. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. Get out and vote.
Eugene, I didn't even know Miss Lewis was sitting at a piano that day. Okay. I didn't even know. She was like, I got some. She was like, hold on one thing. And I said, well, what the heck? But it was a tone. And frankly, what that song that Miss Lewis that you did then, y'all, is it not applicable right now?
Oh, yeah.
It's applicable every 2 years.
Everywhere I go, I make people sing with me. Listen, yeah, I will be on the front line of campaigning for people to vote. I just did a big fundraiser for Karen Bass out in Los Angeles. I'm working with Jane Fonda on the Freedom of Speech
Yeah.
Committee. Al Sharpton just honored me.
We love the
Yeah, I
Rev.
saw that. We love
Yes,
Rev.
we love the Rev.
And, a couple of years ago, I was honored by the Congressional Black Caucus, and Dr. Bernice King honored me a while back. And I stand amazed. I'm a classically trained actress, and there's a line, and I believe it's Romeo and Juliet, I'm not sure. But there's a line that says, do not stand amazed. In other words, let's get the F out of here, But I stand amazed at my journey.
Mm.
I stand amazed at coming through and standing tall and learning to be vulnerable. It took me a long time to say to my therapist and my friends that I was scared lying on the sacred ground of the Serengeti.
Really? Why?
Mm.
I mean, I would think we would all be.
Well,
I
I
mean, if
was
it happened to me, I'd be
surrounded by
scared.
wild animals. Do you know that?
Well, I
Girl,
heard there were
I heard
snakes.
a lion roar. I heard a lion roar. Now, the comedy of the laying there on the ground because I couldn't move is the fucking hippo came over. A hippopotamus. And I knew
Now, Miss Lewis, let me stop you because I heard you say this, and let me just say, I've been on safari, okay? And when I went on safari in Kenya, when we went to go see the hippopotamuses that morning, they told us that the hippos are quick and they will kill you.
Yes.
So if the
They're
hippo,
some of the most dangerous on the
so
planet.
if you see the
and
hippo,
that's why I said you ain't eating shit over here. And have you heard of Ozempic, you fat bitch? And there was a little antelope grazing nearby. I had hit, I fell 10 feet. And
so
then
did
three
the so
little
did
bi-
the antelope really come up to you, or was this a
No,
hallucination?
some three little pink booty baboons swung out of a tree and they started, grooming me, going into the hair and grooming me. And as the three pink booty baby baboons started to groom my hair and where my other hair was, I said, could y'all not do that? There's a sign down there that says out of order. There's a sign down there that says out of order. And I knew that baboons had poor night vision. So they didn't see the sign. And I said, listen, you little shits, my name is Jennifer Lewis. I am an award-winning actress from the United States. You know what the little pink booty baby baboon said?
What did they say?
They said it just like this. Yeah, we synced you on Fresh Prince. We synced Jackie's back and the preacher's wife. We know who you are. That's why we swung our little pink booty baby baboon asses down here to talk to you. They had seen every movie I had done. They'd seen Broadway shows. And all I could respond and think to myself was, Merry Christmas, fans in the Serengeti. No.
Miss Lewis,
I
we're gonna take a turn. I think we got a
Yes.
couple more voting questions, but I have this is just you just made me think of this. Of course, you have been in all these iconic movies, iconic shows. I'm wondering, do you have any thoughts about Oprah, whom we love, was in Cannes, however y'all want to say it. And she was telling a story about the Oprah Winfrey Show when Whitney was on it. There was all this backlash that people had about the story that Oprah Winfrey told about Whitney Houston.
The first interview I did with her when we'd gone behind stage and I asked her about her intention, she was clean. But the day she came to my show then to perform in front of the audience, she was not. And she fell off of the stage. And I knew that if that story got out that she'd fallen off of the stage, that she would be destroyed by that. And so even though the audience was there and the audience had cameras, I begged them not to put those pictures out because it would ruin her life, and they did not.
I don't think Oprah anticipated how the story would land and how so many people took so many different things from it. What did you take?
The first thing that came to my mind, because Whitney was so loud. Her voice was the eighth wonder of the world. Her everythingness gave us life. When I heard that, I thought about the line from Malcolm X when he said the chicken came home to roost. But then the other character said to him, I'm going to shut you up for a minute because people loved this man. People loved this man. We're talking about John F. Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much we loved him because he gave us hope. Whether he was, an asshole or no, whatever people are, whatever politicians are. The Kennedys were stuck down our throats, and we loved him. I was very young. I loved him because he was so handsome. And then I fell in love with Junior. When I met John Kennedy Jr., oh my God. I wanted to say something, but I couldn't think of anything intelligent. I said, "My God." I said, "You're so beautiful." God, that shit fucked me up. I said, "Oh my God." And the last time I'd seen him, he was saluting his daddy. We came up with that. People loved John F. Kennedy. People love Whitney Houston. Let it lay.
Mm.
Let that baby rest. Leave our baby alone. We don't need to hear no more. We don't listen to me. We don't need to hear no more stories. We've heard them all. So leave my baby alone. Leave her alone. Just leave her alone. Leave them all alone. Leave Michael alone. Leave Prince alone. Leave them all alone. Think before you speak of the dead. They paved the way for us, no matter who it was. They lived. If they lived, they left something. They were part of the symphony. Leave them alone. Leave them all alone. Be nice. Now, mind you, and make sure they all hear this. I am no better or worse than anybody on this planet, but I care. And that makes me strong. You got to care. You got to care. Care about these kids. My 1.5-year-old niece, I want her to have a dream, not be in a concentration camp under the throes of these evil son of a bitches.
And I don't want people to think you're being dramatic because, to be very clear, this administration is building warehouses that folks believe are just for undocumented individuals. But to be very clear, American citizens have been swept up and
So
put
why have you
into some of
built
these places.
20,000 up? Why'd you have
That's
you
what
built
Rachel
20?
That's a
Maddow
very
asked the
good
same
question.
question.
Very good
Why you
question.
why you
It's a
building
very good
20,000
question.
up? Girl, if you haven't seen um Handmaiden's Tale, you might want to watch it. It's very dark. I'll say that before you watch it, but this is what they want. They want to be able to fuck us, beat us, and kill us whenever they feel like it. That's what they did in slavery. That's what they trying to bring back. Don't get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. This is World War II. This is mass graves. I ain't trying to make it dark, children. I'm just trying to wake you up. You get your ass out and vote. You vote in these midterms. You vote. Don't sit down. Don't go, it doesn't matter anymore. Yes, it does. Please vote. Please be kind to your neighbors. And by the way, this is the most important thing I want to say. Get closer in your communities.
Mm-hmm.
Honey,
Yeah.
meet your neighbors now. Meet your neighbors. Get closer. Get closer to one another. And be nice. That's all. See, be nice covers it all. Just be nice.
Yeah.
Leave people alone. People are suffering. They were suffering before all of this. Leave people alone. Human beings are fragile. Be kind. It's very important. Stop judging somebody's shoes and what they wear. I mean, I get a good laugh. I can't see your shoes, Simone, but I'm sure they're horrible. But the thing is,
They are. I got my Nike slides
it's
on up
just
under
horrible.
here.
See, just horrible. Just horrible. I knew. But really, on a serious note, I always break it with humor because laughter is the greatest healer.
Yes.
Laughter is the
Yeah.
greatest healer. Laugh when there's nothing funny. I said that when I was doing my last will and testament in Nairobi as they were wheeling me into surgery, a 9-hour surgery.
Did you think you were going to die, Miss Lewis?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did indeed. I did indeed. Yeah. They told my friend I'd be in surgery for 4 hours. 9 hours later, 3 blood transfusions, 12 nights in ICU. But I got up. God damn.
Mm.
Girl, I got up. Now, I told you I didn't know how not to come back. I said, bitch, you will not limp the fuck around. The fuck am I? What the fuck am I? Dracula's assistant? I ain't going to. Oh, yes, master. Fuck you, bitch. Ladies and gentlemen, legend Jennifer Lewis. Well, you been get bitch, please. I'm Jennifer motherfucking Lewis. I'm so stupid.
Miss Lewis.
I'm so ignorant.
Miss Lewis, no,
Yeah.
not at all.
No.
Simone showed the piano. There's obviously the famous "Ain't Nobody With Me in These Streets." My mom sings it all the time.
Yeah.
If you could, and you don't have to, you're an icon, you do what you want. But if there was a song that you felt matched the moment that was on your heart right now, what would you tell people?
Oh, yeah. Is there a song?
Here it is. We're gonna be all right if we stand as the people.
Hmm.
We're gonna be all right if we trust we're the people. We're gonna be all right if we rise as one people. One people. One people.
With
Okay.
that.
I feel that viscerally. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, we're going to be all right if we stand as the people, as one people. They are trying to take us back. But if we stand together, as one of my former bosses would say, we're the United States of America, there's nothing we can't do. Miss
That's
Lewis,
right.
Miss Lewis, thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you, thank
Thank
you.
This was
Thank you,
fun.
thank you, thank you.
This was fun.
This was so great. Thank you.
I made it sure I was a little calmer than I was on. Maybe I showed
We would have taken you however you showed up, madam.
Exactly.
I want everybody to know that I can joke all day and all night. I'm good at it. I've been doing it since I was a kid. I was born to make people laugh. But I am confident in knowing that the platform that I built all these many years was built for this moment in
Mhm.
time. For me to now use this voice that writes these songs at that piano, Flint ain't fix. Our children shouldn't have to run from bullets. Climate change is real. Destroying the planet wasn't part of the deal. All of these songs come from a place deep inside of me. I don't do them for show. I do them to lift you up.
We feel lifted. Miss Lewis, we
Thank
appreciate you. We appreciate your
Thank you,
voice
thank
and we
you,
appreciate
thank
your
you.
time. Thank you. We love you.
Thank
Good
you,
to
thank
see
I
you.
love
you.
y'all black.
Thank you.
Everybody, be nice, take
Thank
care of
you.
yourself, and stay in your joy for the love of God. Stay
Yes.
in your
Yes,
joy.
yes.